Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Monday, August 15th, 2022. Hope everyone survived the weekend. It was a crazy weekend. NFL preseason over betters 13-3. God bless you guys. You guys are amazing. You solved the Rubik's Cube. I mean, this season you guys are going to bankrupt Vegas. I already saw the for sale signs up prior to the show. Dave Showerpan on the phone. Thank you to our co-host Riley for his patience. I apologize. And it was kind of comical. I asked Dave if he saw any sports books that were closed, windows up, boarded up, and he hadn't seen any yet. But all those Publix and the DGens that crushed the college. The NFL, God bless you guys. Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. Great series over the weekend. It was nice to see them play well. If you go back to our Friday show, Mr. Riley Magnuson, and you go back to Saturday morning, I clearly spoke about who had the best round on Friday. His name was Willie Z. -7. We know the story. Fired his longtime caddy. Just can't win the big one, can't close. And he had a stretch where he was top 5, top 10 in every major. So he goes out on Friday, shoots 7 under, and I talked about his odds. We talked about him on Saturday. Well, goes out and wins in a playoff. That monkey is off his back, and that's something to keep an eye of. Once you get the first one, it's a lot easier, and I think he's primed here for a big run the next 2 weeks here. As Cam Smith is out this week, it's not because he's going to the Live. It's not because he's got $100 million waiting. It's because he's number 2 or 3 in the FedEx Cup. He doesn't need to play this weekend. He's in. So take the week off. Don't have to listen to the nonsense, the pressers. Hey, are you going? Are you not going? We all know he's going. Leave him alone. If you were in that spot, you'd go too. So, small baseball slate today. We got a few. Thank God I took the morning and afternoon off. That fade, Mr. Hutchinson, and it's not looking good. Bottom of the 5th, 1-0 Detroit over Savali and the Guardians. Oh, 1-1. Riley just said 1-1. There you go. So anyone that had Cleveland first 5 money line, you can breathe a little easier. But it is what it is. But without further ado, let's bring him in, the one, the only, from the Windy City, still with a manager that sleeps in between innings, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Afternoon, Riley.
Afternoon. Happy new week, my friend. You said another one bites the dust. I guess you didn't say another one bites the dust as far as managers in the MLB. Texas Rangers but yeah, not my manager. So I'm still holding out any 1% glimmer of hope that does happen. But hey, a nice your Red Sox got a nice huge series winning over the Yankees 2 out of 3. White Sox get back on track with a sweep over the currently and for the most part over the season pretty lowly Tigers right now. So while it was nice to get a nice win streak going, first time over or 3 games over 500 since middle of April when we were 6-3, that feels nice. But it's the real test comes the next week, 4 with Houston here in Chicago, and then trip to Cleveland for 3 over the weekend. So not saying it's make or break this week, but it certainly is an important week for the White Sox. But nonetheless, had a great weekend of golf action, and obviously, like you said, we've got 2 weeks of some even more action-packed golf. So I'm excited to get rolling. NFL preseason rolling along, getting prepped for the actual start of the season in less than 2 weeks till week 0 of college football. Fall is in the air, and at least with football in the air, and I can't wait, my friend.
A temperature of the south side after the weekend. Yes, it was a sweep. We've had these series before that you thought, especially, that you were going to use as momentum. Perfect spot, perfect timing. Here we go. We're going to get a nice sweep, and we're going to start building that momentum. You did what you had to do. Now you said this week, hey, listen, you're going to have to earn it this week. 4 against the Astros, 3 against the Guardians. Expectations and temperature in town.
I think it's going to live and die by the starting pitching for all 7 games, if I'm being honest with you. As much as we got a little bit more timely hitting over the weekend against the Tigers, there was still a couple of ugly wins. And if it wasn't for Andrew Vaughn, we might have been looking at a potential getting swept by the damn Detroit Tigers. So thank goodness once again for Andrew Vaughn, one of the only guys who has actually probably exceeded his expectation for the damn season. So I weirdly, as I've been all season, have weird wavering levels of optimism. But it's interesting. We've managed to split with bad teams in 4-game series, managed to split with good teams in 4-game series. So one way or another, I'm not sure what to expect. I have some decent hope for tonight. Tomorrow is going to be interesting. I think it's Verlander versus Cease, possibly the top 2 Cy Young candidates right now in the American League. So tune in for that one. And then Kopech looked good last time out if he can keep it rolling. Same thing with Giolito. So really, right now, we're kind of living and dying by the starting pitching because while we're getting some timely hitting here and there now a little bit, it's still, for the most part, not the prettiest watch if you're watching for some White Sox offense right now. I labored through it this weekend, but I'm holding out hope that our starting pitching can get hot, and that's going to be what propels us into, obviously, the AL Central lead, hopefully, if this week goes well and then beyond. But and then after that, we'll see. But it's going to be up to the starting pitching and the bullpen, I think, for these next 7 days to see how our week goes this week.
And you talked about peeking ahead, knowing that you got to face Cy Verlander, who has just been lights out. They did lose his last outing in extra innings. It wasn't the greatest outing for Verlander. You would expect a bounce back. Facing Urquidy tonight with Cueto on the other side. One of these, you really want to get in early. You want to set the tone, maybe a crooked number. Hopefully you can get 5 or 6 from Cueto. You really need this win because I know as good as Cease has been pitching, don't get me wrong, but if you can somehow steal this win, it makes it less daunting knowing you got to face Verlander tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, we're not shy to, or we're not strangers to Justin Verlander, and it hasn't been pretty throughout, his career. We obviously being on the other side, or in our division, handful of years, obviously, and now with a playoff contender against us in Houston. So, offensively, I don't have high hopes against Justin Verlander tomorrow. I expect him to be fantastic. And Urquidy has been, I'm not saying he's been a punching bag against the White Sox by any means, but he would be, if I had to pick one person that I'd like to face out of that rotation for our lineup, he might be the guy. So I've got decent hopes tonight. Johnny Cueto's got some decent numbers against Houston's lineup, but you're absolutely right. If we lose this one tonight, then the pressure kind of swells a little bit going into tomorrow for sure.
I tweeted out Tanyan and a couple others back to practice. Again, I did my second draft last night. Again, 19th out of 20th round, grabbing Tanyan. Already had a tight end. More if I can hold him till he gets into game shape, whether it was going to be the pup the first month, 6 weeks, and then hold on, and then he comes back. Any idea yet what's going on with him? Is this a wait and see, or is this going to be a pop, or what's going on?
Yeah, I would say it's a wait and see. I think you're right. I think from a fantasy perspective, he absolutely holds value, whether he's ready week 1 or even week 6, week 7, week 8, because of Devontae Adams leaving. Now I think when he's been healthy over the last couple of years, he's had some value. But also looking through the depth chart, I mean, you have Mercedes Lewis again, who is a nice teammate to have and holds his weight from a football perspective here and there. He's not going to be taking away if you're worried from a fantasy perspective. Mercedes Lewis, you don't have to worry about. And then Josiah DeGuara is the other guy, but he's a totally different type of gadget tight end almost, if you will, to where he, again, is not someone. If Tanyan is healthy, he's not going to be this emerging factor that's going to steal away targets from Tanyan. So once he is healthy, he's going to be a factor in that offense for sure. So I'm 100% agreement with you. Even if it's week 10 and you need a desperate tight end for, I'm not saying it's going to take that long, but even if it were to be week 10 and that's when he's going to be healthy and you need a playoff flyer for him, I think he's got some value from that perspective. Might not be quite ready for week 1. I'm not totally sure, but I do think sooner rather than later in the season, he's going to be ready and he's going to be a factor for you.
Well, Mercedes has definitely left the garage a long time ago. I'm more in that Pinto Fiat range right now. So we'll keep that there. NFL preseason, I mean, the weekend, like I said in the intro, overs 13-3. There were some exciting games, a lot of scoring. The naysayers that they're going to want a lot of scoring because a lot of these games are now being streamed. People want to turn and watch offense, not defense. Anything stick out to you over the weekend that kind of caught your eye other than the Packers, or was it just business as usual?
No, I would say that's definitely something to look at. I mean, part of the reason why I don't tune into that often to these random preseason games is because they're not fun to watch. And when you add these points, when even if it's a guy that's going to be a third stringer, but maybe he was one of your favorite guys in college, at least it makes it a lot more fun to watch. So yeah, I think going forward through this preseason, points is definitely something to look out for. Judging it from the game that I watched the most, the Packers and 49ers, these starting secondaries aren't really being, when they're in the game, they're not really going 100%. And so it really seems like either you have a starting secondary kind of going through the motions a little bit, just trying to get their game feet ready underneath them, or it's, some steep reserves. And so these offenses are really able to pick apart those types of guys. So I think you're going to see maybe a little bit less in weeks 2 and 3, now that we probably have some more starters coming into these games and going a little bit further, more full into their game speed type of play. But I don't know if we should be going 100% overs next week or the next 2 weeks. But contrary to normal years, I would say overs are a little bit more to think about than unders, like it typically is in these preseason games, year to year.
All right, I'm going to pass the board over to you. We get to the 6th 1-1 Detroit and Cleveland. That's the only game going. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Detroit and Cleveland playing a doubleheader. Yeah. I guess Steph Curry or Xander Curry, whatever, chicken curry versus B. Garcia. I don't have a clue about anyone of those guys.
Your guess is as good as mine. Are you surprised to see? I mean, I was also looking into. I mean, the other day we had the Orioles debut, DL Hall. He was one. He's a top 100 prospect in baseball. Xavier Curry, I assume that's how you pronounce his name. Xavier Curry, he's like the 20th prospect in the Cleveland organization. So I'm not really sure what to expect. And having said that, you've got a minus 200 line for Cleveland in the second game. Is there anything to make out of that, or are you just throwing your hands up and staying as far away as you possibly can there?
Well, I got scorched because the Braves doubleheader, I was hoping they lost when we talked about the first game in the Marlins. They ended up winning that first game, getting the run line to cover. They come back and do the same thing here. Obviously, I'd be rooting for Detroit to pull this one off to make it a lot easier. Vegas is making a stance. I assume they think that the Detroit bullpen will get taxed in this game. You got a better pitching edge with Cleveland. Again, I don't know anything about either pitcher. I do know the Guardians are playing a lot better than the Tigers. I have to trust the opening numbers. I respect what Vegas is saying. So if you want to go in first 5 minus the hook, you want to even do a run line. The under-over is 8 and a hook. They said there's going to be some runs to score. So even a Cleveland full game run line, I might be tempted to get into that game.
I'm trying to look at something else here as well, because I was looking at Garcia on the other hand. He's got 2 starts, I think, this season. Last 2, 3 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned, a home run allowed, 2 walks, 3 Ks. That's against Toronto. And then last week, 10 days ago, 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, but 6 walks on 3 Ks. So I think that's really telling you that maybe this guy's going to be all over the place, or maybe he's just laboring and throwing it in the strike zone, and this Cleveland team should be able to tee off. So I think there is, I have no idea what to expect from Xavier Curry on Cleveland side of things, but maybe that is telling you that Detroit's going to, this Garcia guy is going to be a punching bag or not going to be able to find in the strike zone for the first 3 innings. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Like I said, we're going to trust the line. This game here doesn't look like there'll be a lot of scoring. It still could open up, but, a Cleveland with Savali that overnight was 220, close to 212. It's 1-1. So anyone that had played Cleveland first 5 minus the hook, that was an L. If you're playing the run line, you're like, where's Jose? Yeah. What's going on here? Maybe a sit and watch. Maybe the Tigers pull this one off and then definitely come back with the Guardians in game 2.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that one. I like that one a lot. Next one up after that game, or about the same time as that game starting game 2 for that series doubleheader. Philly and Cincinnati. Syndergaard and Mike Minor for the Reds. This one is in Cincinnati. Syndergaard, I believe, making start number 3 for Philadelphia. 6 innings, 2 earned versus Miami last week. But you can tell me whether or not you think that's impressive or not. I just saw the Marlins 13 out of 16 games have gone under 3 runs or something along those lines. Maybe I'm paraphrasing. Mike Minor, on the other hand, has not been good. What are we at? Minus 175 in this one for the Phillies, minus 170 on DraftKings. Anything to make out of that one? Would you like to see it a little higher if you're liking the Phillies, or is that a fair line there?
No, an overnight number at circa at 185, currently at 171. It looks like a public DGen special. Syndergaard minus a hook first 5. Phillies minus a 1.5 full game and under over a 9. Generally speaking, Cincinnati home park, there's a lot of runs. And again, mine has been one of those guys that I've been punching bag, really been waiting for his starts, not like Keuchel, but, Minor actually, his last couple starts hasn't been that guy. He's been hanging around. I'm going to stay away. I think this is a public DGen special. I'm looking at splits here, 60% of the bets, 76% of the money, yet the line's kind of creeping down a little. I'm just going to stay away.
I'm with you on it. Is there any concern? Maybe a little bit. The Phillies lose 2 out of 3 of the Mets, 2 runs scored, 0 and then 0. Obviously, we got DeGrom and Scherzer mixed in there. Is there any concern that there's going to be a hangover from that type of lack of offense as opposed to a bounce back for them?
Or Minor's pitches look like beach balls and they put up crooked numbers after
right.
So you can be the hero here and say, hey, you know what? I think the Phillies bounce back. Again, you faced Max and DeGrom, and then who was it? Bassett?
Bassett yesterday.
And Bassett's been pitching good, and this is what the Mets do to you. So it's a spot that you would expect to bounce back from the Phillies. I'm going to wait a game and see, and then we'll go from there.
I wasn't planning on doing it. How about this one as far as my home run prop of the day? Nick Castellanos returned to Cincinnati. He is 4 for 11 career versus Minor with 2 bombs and has a 4-game hit streak right now. Hasn't hit a home run during that stretch. How about a Castellanos bomb in his return to Cincinnati?
I love it.
I saw at least 3-1 on that one. So that one, I'm all in for that one.
Nice call.
Next one up, good pitching matchup. San Diego and Miami, Musgrove and Alcantara. Sandy, 4 earned runs last time out. Musgrove, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned last time out. Last I checked, this line is looking at minus 145 for the Padres. Any value anywhere on Sandy Alcantara in this one? Obviously, we just talked about what this Miami offense is doing. Is there any way to get into this one, or is this just stay away because this Miami offense is just that putrid?
We love Alcantara. I love following Craig Mish. He comes on here on occasion, and we've talked a lot about Alcantara. He right now is just disgusted. This team is just can't score and has folded the tent. And it's been nothing but 3s or less. I talk a lot about Marlin games. The opponents just get to 4. If you can get to 4, most likely you're going to win. Padre team now had a weekend to soak in the Tatis news. They got Musgrove on the mound. I expect the Padres to find a way. Anyone wants to jump in on the Marlins, good luck, God bless you. But I think Musgrove will keep them down enough where the San Diego back end and their offense is going to wear them down. So how would I personally get into this? It's an under over a 6.5. I wouldn't do the first 5 minus the hook. If you wanted to go Padre run line, and let's say a Manny homer in the 8th or something like that gets you there, even a Soto blast or something. But Padres run line are nothing for me.
Yeah, no, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it at all in this one. Next one, I haven't been really touching these teams at all either. Cubs and Nationals, Stroman versus Josiah Gray. Cubs about, last I checked, let me double check where we're sitting at right now, minus 140 on DraftKings. Is that too going to be true for the Cubs, or is that a fair one right there?
No, I think they want you to grab the Cubs. We've talked about it. They had some big numbers on the Cubs. Playing better, I guess. Right now, Cubs 47 and 66. Washington 38 and 78. an overnight number of 132. The public's kind of push it to 135. Square book William Hill 145. For me, it's a Nationals or nothing. I think it's a sucker play for the Cubs. I'm not saying the Cubs aren't going to win, guys. I'm not going to say they're not going to crush this. They're enticing you to take the Cubs today. I would take a swing with Gray or nothing tonight.
Now, Gray's one of these guys, when you got these fishy lines against teams where you'd expect it to be a lot higher, Gray's been one of those guys that I like to back a little bit. So I'm with you on this one. He did see the Cubs last time out, was decent against them, and the Cubs got the win, but I could see him being real solid in this one. Next one up is an interesting one. Almost had a perfect game for Tampa Bay. I don't know, was that yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. Rays versus Yankees. Beeks versus Garrett Cole. Beeks is going to be a bullpen day for the Rays. But obviously the Yankees are kind of flailing right now. Any value in fading Garrett Cole, or are you respecting that number today with where it's at right now?
I know it wasn't far, but what do we preach here, Riley?
The Sunday night, it was in Boston, right? They Sunday night and now traveling home, right? Yep.
But here's a funny. I finished my draft, which was in record time. It was an hour and 8 minutes. By the time we wrapped up the draft, it was an 8:00 draft. We finished at 9:03 or 9:05, something stupid. Just couldn't believe how quick it was. Flipped off the big screen, got it to ESPN, and I saw the Red Sox make the final. Make the defense make the final out there with Whitlock. I have to stick and stay. Hey, listen, you guys want to jump on the Yankees. It's Cole. I get all that. Tampa can't score again. Kind of talking like Alcantara and Miami here. But I'm telling you guys, I know it was a short trip, and they got out early. But the ESPN late game on Sunday nights, team that travels, does not bode well on Monday.
Nope. It was even less. I guess I don't know the distance traveled from wherever it was the week before compared to this one, but what was it? San Diego going from LA to San Diego or vice versa. One of the two wasn't very far, but it happened again. And I'm just looking at Tampa Bay's lineup against Garrett Cole. It really isn't terrible numbers by any stretch. So I could absolutely see it. So I'm interested. There's been a ton of value on fading Garrett Cole in general, even when the Yankees were winning. And now you got a team in the Yankees that are floundering right now. And the Rays put up some numbers. The Orioles pitching obviously didn't have a great weekend, but the Rays put up some numbers this weekend against Baltimore. I think 8 runs one of the 2 games. So maybe they're staying hot today.
No, I agree. And we've been waiting for Tampa to get rolling here. Again, they were able to slow down the Orioles for a bit here. Let me see here. Tampa right now. Where are you, Tampa? 60-53. Obviously, 12 games back. They're not going to catch the Yankees. They do have a 1-game lead over Baltimore, who is traveling to Toronto tonight. So they kind of stopped the bleeding. It's a good spot. Again, it's another public degen special with Garrett Cole like it was with Syndergaard today. So one of those is probably going to go down. So again, if I was to play a little beer and pizza on Tampa, I have no problem with that tonight.
Would you like the money line better than over 1.5 in the first 5 for the Rays is plus 145?
How about the beer? How about the beer on that one and the pizza on the money line for the full game?
Okay, I like it. No, I like it. That's a good one. Staying in the same division, Baltimore and Toronto. We just talked about Baltimore for a second. Bradish versus Kikuchi. Kikuchi, 5 innings, 5 earned at Baltimore last week. Bradish has been better lately, but I'm going to ask you, should we be expecting regression from Bradish? And if so, what are you looking for here tonight in Toronto?
Toronto was part of our 3-team action parlay on Sunday. And you know what? As soon as we got off the show with Scotty Webb, I put on my timeline on Twitter, I don't go in front of trains. But something about Singer and the Royals yesterday smelt the high heaven against the Dodgers, and they go out and win 4-0. We had Toronto as part of the parlay. Obviously, we go down in flames as Gosman got gassed. And the more I'm looking at this Toronto team, I have not a problem. Now, maybe they catch fire here the last 6 weeks. I can see them outside looking in. Their bats have been cold as hell. Their starting pitching has been real inconsistent. Now you got Kikuchi on the mound, who again is not good. Now, you said he gave up 5 in Baltimore. You would expect a better outing back at home. Baltimore, losers of 2 out of 3 to Tampa. I like the Baltimore side. With that said, I'm a little salty from yesterday. So maybe you get the good Kikuchi and the Toronto Bats wake up. But I'm staying away from this game, but leaning Baltimore.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm not a fan of Kikuchi whatsoever, so I think I'm with you on this one. But I'm a little tentative, a little concerned that maybe this is the time. I hope I'm wrong, that this is the time where Baltimore starts to fade after this weekend. I don't know, but yeah, so it's going to keep me away. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm rooting for them, but yeah, we'll see. Going to the NL East, New York Mets going into Atlanta. For the Braves, you got Carrasco versus Strider. Strider finally roughed up last week by the Mets, and Carrasco has been pretty damn solid lately. Are you interested in Strider off of the bounce back in this one, or is this a tough matchup here in what are they? How far away are they in the top of the division right now?
Mets have a 75-40 versus 70-46, so they got technically a 5-game lead. Actually 5.5 because there's one less game played. Looking at the number, where it started, where it's going, I am okay with playing the Braves and the run line today. I think they can get it done. It's an under-over of a flat 8, juiced over minus 115, 120. I'm going to go on record that says the Braves get to 4 or 5, the Mets in that 2 or 3 range. I like the Braves run line tonight.
I think I'm with you. I mean, the Braves are kind of getting off to a roll again. Obviously, they sweep 4 games of the Marlins, so what do you make of that, obviously? But the way the Marlins are playing. But I think I'm with you. I mean, Strider, after what happened last week, I think he bounced back. I'm a big Strider fan. I think he looks really solid tonight, and I think we're going to get some regression from Carrasco. Only a handful of games left. Going back to the AL Central, next one, Bubic and Joe Ryan, Kansas City and Minnesota. Joe Ryan, we've talked about him a little bit before, has not been very good lately. Not sure if you're expecting a bounce back at all, but we are seeing a total of, last I checked, it was 8. It actually is on the move in certain spots up to 8.5. Any indication from you that this one could be a high-scoring affair, or you staying away from this one altogether?
Bubic was another one of those. We used to call him Bubic the Boob, and he's been, egg on our face of late. Again, he's like a Mike Minor and some of these others that seem to have been rounded a little into form. Ryan, great start this year, gets injured, comes back, and not the same pitcher. I'm staying far, far away. That Minnesota offense just keeps. He's like another. I don't want to call them like the Orioles and pesky, but they get guys on base. Now, whether they get the clutch hit or not is a whole different story. 8, 9, 10, 11 LOBs, but I expect them to grind this one out. Kansas City, another pesky team. Those kids are hitting the shit out of the ball. Yeah. The Mendezes of the world. They're coming out of nowhere. The Bobby Witts, and a team that maybe in a couple of years is moving in the right direction. They're putting the right pieces into place. Tough spot for them. I'm staying away. I'm going to be interested to see who stays longer in the game, Bubic or Ryan.
Yeah, there you go. If I was a totals guy, I'd say it over, but I'm not a totals guy at all. We both talk about not totals. I whenever I feel strongly like this, it does not work out for me, and you get a gem from both guys. So I'll stay away from that one. But next one, staying in the American League for the next couple, Oakland and Texas. I don't know about you, but it seems like these two teams have played quite a lot the last month or so. Caprillion versus Otto for Texas. 8 straight losses for the Oakland A's if you haven't been paying attention to them. Are you avoiding that train, or are you hopping on the Oakland A's loss train, or are you seeing something else here?
Caprillion, another one who was lights out, and he's really found his stride, but like the Marlins, like a few other teams, this Oakland team just doesn't score enough. Not a big Otto fan. I got to respect the 160 because what it was able to do was to generate some Oakland plays with Caprillion on the mound. I'm going to be far, far away from it. But if you wanted to get in, let's say a Texas run line, the under over is an 8. Again, Texas get to that 4 or 5. Actually, Let me backtrack. The fired manager.
Ah,
The fired
of
manager.
course.
There it is.
Didn't even think about it.
The fired manager. So I'm not going to tell everyone to run to the window with the -6 160. Rangers run line today. Yes, the fired manager approach is in play.
He said it at the top. I totally forgot that was yeah. I didn't even think about it. And you've got the lowly Oakland A's coming into town. So yeah, and I was at least the last 5 these games. I mean, like I said, they've played a handful of times recently, and these games have been wild. So and they haven't really been close. Whoever's winning is winning by the run line, I think, for the most part here. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm glad you pulled that one out because I totally would have forgot about it on that one.
I almost forgot to.
That's one of your favorites. You've been loving that one this year. It's been working like a charm.
Yes, it has. It has.
Next one up, coming to my neck of the woods, Houston and the White Sox. We talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I'll toss our final thoughts in here. Urquidy versus Johnny Cueto. Is this number too good to be true if you're liking the Houston Astros? Am I drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much on the White Sox? Before I kick it to you, my concern is that we just keep teetering on these lines of over the last 2 weeks of getting to 500 and then falling a little bit, getting back over 500, then falling a little bit, then going 2 games over 500. And then finally yesterday getting 3 games over 500 for the first time since April. Can you trust the White Sox in this spot tonight?
Every time I get back in, I get egg on my face.
Yeah.
You know, you would think there's a sense of urgency here tonight with Verlander on the mound. I know you got Cease coming out, but it's Verlander and the guy. Excuse me. The guy has just been money. I would like to say this is your chance here. Urquidy, hot and cold. Last start, not good. Was I right there?
You know what? I'll double check that. I don't know, honestly. Let's see. Last start, 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned, 3 home runs allowed at home to Texas.
You'll probably get a bounce back with Urquidy. I don't know what you're going to get from Cueto. The line is dropping as we speak. They're listening, by the way. Again, they're listening here. What
I will add, I mean, if you listen to, I don't remember if it was Friday, Johnny Cueto was the player that I was talking about as far as kind of questioning the fire of the White Sox team. Somebody mentioned it yesterday as far as Tony La Russa shot Johnny Cueto's comments down. Somebody yesterday on the White Sox team mentioned something about as far as responding to Johnny Cueto's comments as opposed to, 77-year-old idiot's comments. So what I'm saying is maybe Johnny Cueto comes out with some fire of his own and trying to back up those statements because this is the first time out since those statements were made. That's all I was going to add for Johnny Cueto's tonight.
I agree. Now, anyone that wants to go to the Houston window tonight, I don't have a problem because it's a great price. You're never going to get Houston at these prices. You know, even with Cease on the mound tomorrow, you're not going to get that price. God, you guys have killed me so many damn times. All right, last chance, the last chance, okay? We'll take the White Sox tonight.
I love it. Last chance. If this is Custard's last stand here. I'm crossing my fingers, obviously, for all of us involved in this one. Only 3 more left. Next one is in Milwaukee, not too far from here. Dodgers going into Milwaukee. Obviously, everyone knows how hot the Dodgers are. Urias versus Peralta. Urias has been very strong lately. On the other end, you got Freddie Peralta. 2 starts so far since IL stint. Both of them under 70 pitches total. Both the 2 starts since IL, and the Brewers just dropped the series to the Cardinals in St. Louis. Albert Pujols' home run ball is still flying, that second home run ball. Any value on either side here, or are you just avoiding the Dodgers train altogether here?
What are you supposed to do today?
Am I drawing a blank?
Dodgers had a 12-game winning streak and lost yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For sure. I guess I for some reason I thought it was like a 5-game and they had one broken up in there. Okay. No, 100%. I guess I didn't realize it was that many games. Yeah. What are we at for odds right now? Minus 170. It was definitely one that I was going to ask if that one is a little too fishy, too good to be true as far as how strong Urias has been. And Peralta, if Peralta's going, would you expect Peralta to get 90 pitches in today, or maybe only a small increment up from what he had, 65 or something like that?
You're looking in that 75 to 90 range. The bullpen should be all right with Milwaukee. Again, a weekend. Now, listen, these games is, we're in that 47-48 range now. Every game means something. They're 61-52, so that is 113. That leaves them at 49 games, 50, yeah, 49 games left. And St. Louis, I assume, is off today. So I don't have their record in front of me. It's a good spot. Again, the winners of, long winning streaks lose, and then you're supposed to come back and they lose the second game. You're getting a great price on Milwaukee. I know you're stepping in front of the Dodger train. It smelled yesterday. I'm just saying that's what you're supposed to do. If you don't want to get in front of it, I get it. I understand. But you're getting the home team, great price. You're supposed to lean Dodgers. Hey, listen, beer and pizza are on the Brewers tonight.
How about the rule book parlay? You got the Sunday night travel team, you got the manager fired coach, and you got the long losing streak or long winning streak ended. You got the rule book parlay tonight. How about that?
Holy shit, Twitter, look out. If that thing comes in, look out.
I love it. I'm going to have to check that one out before we go. Two more left. This one, West Coast. Both of the next ones on the West Coast. Another fantastic matchup, pitching matchup at the very least. Seattle and LA. Angels, Luis Castillo versus Shohei Ohtani. Angels get the win, a series win over the Twins this weekend in Seattle. I guess I'm drawing a blank on what they did this weekend. Nonetheless, this one is about minus 110 either way. Any which way you're leaning this one, or is this a sit back and watch this pitching matchup tonight?
There was a flip overnight. Shohei was actually a small favorite. Actually, I shouldn't say a small favorite. He was minus 145. I'm looking at Wager Talk, but that was before Castillo's moved in. I'm showing 86% of the bets, 79% of the money on Seattle. They are favored at Circa and Westgate right now, minus 106 to 104. If I remember correctly, Castillo got the loss in his home debut. I think he had back-to-back starts against the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken. Good spot here. I mean, you're getting a decent price on Shohei at home. Seattle, again, trying to get into that playoff spot, 62-54. It's an absolute coin toss. Honest to God truth, it's a popcorn game. I could see either side. You don't get Shohei at that price at home, and Castillo now inflated and Seattle inflated. We did have them yesterday in the parlay, which again tied 2-run homer. I think it was from Texas 5-3 win. So you're getting Seattle salty here. I could see either side. I'm just going to sit and watch this one.
No, yeah, this one is an easy popcorn game for me. I mean, that's a matchup should be really nice. So, last one up, Arizona and San Francisco. You got Madison Bumgarner and Alex Cobb for San Francisco. Mad Bum has not been very good lately. Obviously, returns home to San Francisco. However, San Francisco sweeps Pittsburgh. Nice little momentum, but obviously Pittsburgh's not playing well. Any value on Arizona in this one, or is this a fair line for you here tonight? We obviously talked about not touching the Giants over the weekend, and they get it done. I don't regret not touching the Giants over the weekend, but here we are again with a nice hefty line for the Giants on Monday morning.
On Saturday, I did play the team total over 2.5 first 5. Okay. They get a run in the first, a run in the third. Riley, they had 8 LOBs through the first 5. Do you know how hard it is to do that?
Hey, you're talking to the wrong person as far as how hard it is to do that with the wrong fan base over here. I seems easy from my eyes.
Yeah, so we get stuck on 2. And, of course, Scotty Webb's play of the day was team total over 4.5 yesterday with the Giants, and they get to 5. You would think the Mad Bomb return was enough, but Vegas says not so fast. Overnight number of 180, still stuck at 180. If you want to go to the window and play San Fran full game run line, I don't have a problem with that. They might maybe start to put something together. 57-57, like your White Sox, they got to 500. Now you're going to make the next step and, get yourself a couple games over 500. So I could see a San Fran run line tonight. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum looking, if you saw the highlight, obviously the walk-off home run, they got some momentum. So I'm with you on that. I'm looking at the rulebook parlay, Tampa Bay Rays, Milwaukee Brewers, and Texas Rangers, all money line, about 11-1 odds. I thought it would be a little steeper, but 11-1 odds for the 3-team money line parlay there.
I like that. We'll be talking about that all night.
I'm going to sprinkle on it. I've got the rule book parlay. I got to sprinkle on it. So I believe that is the entire slate, though, my friend. Anything that I missed that you would like to touch on before we go?
No, I think, it's funny the way we broke the board down, a lot of things that popped up into my head. And like you said, the rule book parlay, we had a manager fired, Texas. You had the Dodgers winner of 12 in a row lose. So you go against the streak again. So that's the Brewers. And then the third piece was, again, the Yankees loss traveling on the late ESPN game. And so you're catching the Rays. So that is a fun one for sure, my friend.
I'll be damned if, I don't know. I'll be damned if the two underdogs win and it's the Rangers losing to the A's or something like that. That busts it. That one, that's gonna make my skin crawl now that I'm thinking about that. So I'm gonna take that back. I take that off the record. But nonetheless, that is the entire board, my friend. I think it should be a good night. We've had some good pitching matchups. So let's have some winners. We've been breaking down these boards pretty decently the last handful of days, I'd say.
Yes, and don't forget your return to sender Castellanos back home for the home run prop.
Might have to get wild with a $1 lottery ticket and see what we can do with the rule book parlay, and then throw Castellanos on there. We need some. I mean, the guy only hits home runs whenever there's bad news. So if you see some dark news coming across your desk and you haven't seen a Castellanos home run, then you better sprint to the book and place a bet, because then he's going yard if something bad happens in the world tonight.
I agree. Tomorrow at 10:20, we will have Julian Edlow from DraftKings. You and I will try to come back around 4:15, unless we get a phone call from someone, and it was 4:30. Apologies again there.
That's all right.
And then we'll play Wednesday and Thursday by ear if we're going to do a morning or afternoon. I'm going to try to stick it to the closing bell, that 4:30 hour. Sure. Gives everyone a chance that is coming home from work on their way home can listen, and it gives us a better opportunity to look at the board, unless Wednesday or Thursday we're top heavy with day games, which I'm not even sure. I don't even have that schedule. So
Wednesday looks pretty damn top heavy for day games. I just pulled it up. There's a lot of day games on Wednesday.
All right, so we have Andrew at 1 o'clock. So we'll do a breakfast bankroll on Wednesday morning. We'll get everyone set for the afternoon slate. We'll bring Andrew on at 1 o'clock. And then Thursday is B2B at noon. And we'll have yourself on for the closing bell again. And then I think Scotty's off on Friday. I'm not even sure it's Friday or Saturday. So we'll figure it out, though.
Sounds good to me. I will be right here wherever you need me, my friend.
All right. So to everyone watching and listening, we can't thank you enough. Without you, there's no ECSI. And I just have to throw this out. Thanks to the YouTube crew. On Saturday morning, we got about 100 views on that. So thank you. Keep it up. If you're not following us on YouTube or Twitch, just go over to East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe. It's free. Tell a friend. Tell anyone that wants to listen. Myself and Riley and Scotty can't thank you guys enough. And always remember this: if you are wagering tonight, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one, the only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Remember, it's the first day of the week, guys. Take it slow, pump the brakes. Got a couple more weeks. Week 0 in college football is 12 days away. 12 days away. Is that right? 27?
That is exactly right. I double-checked this morning. That is exactly right.
So we got a lot of good stuff brewing here, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning.